Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you ignored the small changes, the subtle doubts, the moments that didn't feel right? Sometimes the person who holds your heart can also quietly control it, without you ever realizing. When you love someone, you trust them. You open your heart, your mind, your world, because that's what a relationship should be, a place where you feel safe, understood, and valued. But sometimes, love becomes the perfect camouflage for control. Not the kind that screams at you, or threatens you, or hurts you directly, but the kind that shifts you slowly, that makes you doubt yourself, that changes the way you think, the way you feel, and even the way you see reality. Manipulation in relationships rarely starts loud. It starts quietly, softly, almost lovingly, and that's what makes it so dangerous. I want to walk you through 10 dark psychology tricks people use in relationships, not to scare you, but to help you understand what's really happening when someone tries to control your emotional world. Because once you can see these tactics, they lose their power over you. You meet someone who feels perfect. They listen, they care, they make you feel special in ways you've never felt before. You start laughing more. You stay up late texting. You open up, slowly at first, then all at once. And just when you think your heart has finally found its home, something shifts. Maybe they get irritated over small things. Maybe they accuse you of things you didn't do. Maybe you feel guilty for speaking up, or confused after simple conversations. Nothing dramatic, just small, subtle moments that don't feel right. But you tell yourself it's nothing. You convince yourself it's stress or misunderstanding, or a bad day. But those moments aren't random. They are signals, early signs of psychological manipulation beginning to take root. Not with pain, not with anger, but with confusion. Manipulation thrives in confusion. Let's begin with one of the most seductive tricks: love bombing. Love bombing is overwhelming affection at the beginning of a relationship. The long messages, constant attention, intense compliments, promises that feel magical. You don't question it because it feels good. It feels validating. It feels like destiny. But psychologically, something else is happening. Your brain begins associating them with dopamine. They become your emotional high. Then suddenly, they pull back. Not completely, just enough to make you wonder what changed. Now you're chasing the attention they once gave freely. You're trying harder to win back the version of them you first met. That's the trap. Love bombing creates the emotional hook, and withdrawal creates the control. When affection becomes unpredictable, your brain becomes addicted to the cycle. Real love grows. It doesn't explode out of nowhere. Then comes something darker: gaslighting. Gaslighting doesn't attack your actions, it attacks your reality. You bring up something that hurt you, and instead of listening, they deny it. That never happened. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. At first, you doubt them. Slowly, you start doubting yourself. You begin apologizing for things you didn't do. You wonder if you're misremembering. You question your emotions. And once you stop trusting your own perception, you begin depending on theirs. That is the true purpose of gaslighting: to break your internal compass until you rely on them for direction. Gaslighting leaves you confused, exhausted, and emotionally off balance. But if someone constantly denies your feelings or rewrites reality, it's not miscommunication. It's manipulation. Then there's guilt manipulation. Guilt is one of the easiest emotions to exploit because good-hearted people don't want to hurt others. A manipulative partner uses lines like, "After everything I do for you," or "I guess I'm not important to you," or "You don't care about me." Suddenly you feel responsible for their emotions even when you did nothing wrong. You cancel plans. You walk on eggshells. You apologize to restore peace. But you're not fixing the relationship. You're feeding their control. Healthy relationships don't use guilt to get compliance. Next comes isolation, a tactic disguised as love. It starts with comments about your friends or family. "They're bad for you. We don't need anyone else. You're different around them." Bit by bit, you spend less time with others. Your world shrinks. And one day you realize the only person left in your life is them. Isolation works because without outside support, you lose perspective. You start believing their version of reality because it's the only version you hear. Real love connects you to the world. Manipulation disconnects you from it. Then comes conditional affection. Love given only when you comply, withdrawn when you don't. One day they're warm, affectionate, loving. The next day they're cold, irritated, distant. You can't predict which version you'll get. And unpredictability is addictive. You begin working harder for their approval. You silence your needs. You apologize for existing. You chase the affection that once came effortlessly, but love that disappears. Every time you speak your truth isn't love. It's control disguised as caring. Another tactic is playing the victim. When confronted, a manipulative partner shifts the blame back to you. You say, "It hurt me when you ignored me." And they respond, "I'm sorry I'm such a terrible partner. You probably deserve someone better." Suddenly you're comforting them instead of addressing the issue. You stop expressing your needs because their reactions make you feel cruel for having them. This tactic works because empathetic people can be controlled through sympathy, and manipulators know that. Then there's jealousy provocation, when someone intentionally makes you insecure to increase your dependence. They flirt with others, hype up past partners, or compare you to people who make you feel inferior, not to cheat, but to destabilize your confidence. An insecure partner is easier to control. Anyone who deliberately damages your self-worth is not protecting your heart. They're weakening it. After that comes stonewalling, silent treatment as a weapon. They shut down during conversations, ignore your messages, or walk away when you try to express yourself. Silence becomes punishment. You start apologizing just to end the emotional abandonment. Stonewalling doesn't resolve conflict. It trains you to avoid confrontation to keep the peace. And that peace is one-sided. Then we have boundary invasion, slowly pushing past the limits you set. It starts small, asking too personal questions too soon, checking your phone as a joke, dismissing your need for space. If you let the small violations slide, bigger ones follow. Boundaries aren't preferences. They're emotional safety lines. Anyone who repeatedly crosses them isn't forgetting. They're testing control. Finally, fear of loss. A manipulator uses fear as emotional leverage. If you leave me, no one will love you. You're nothing without me. I don't know what I'll do if you walk away. These words are not love. They are entrapment. Fear-based relationships don't feel warm or safe. They feel suffocating. And that's the point. Now that we've talked about these tactics, I want to give you the most important part: how to protect yourself. First, trust your feelings again. Manipulation begins by making you doubt your emotions, so healing begins by returning to them. If something feels off, take it seriously. Your intuition is a warning system, not a flaw. Second, name the tactic when it happens. When you can identify manipulation, you break its power. Awareness turns confusion into clarity. Third, rebuild your boundaries. Boundaries are not punishments. They're self-respect. A healthy partner will honor them. A manipulative one will push against them. Fourth, reconnect with people who care about you. Isolation is where manipulation thrives. Support is where it dies. Fifth, don't try to fix the one who is hurting you. You cannot heal someone who uses your empathy as control. You can care about someone's pain without sacrificing your own well-being. And finally, if you choose to leave, protect your heart. Leaving a manipulative relationship is painful, but staying in one destroys you slowly. Before we end, I want to speak to you directly. If you've experienced these tactics, the confusion, the guilt, the silence, the fear, nothing is wrong with you. You weren't weak. You weren't naive. You were human. You loved deeply. You trusted fully, and someone used that trust against you. You deserve love that feels safe. You deserve a relationship where communication is gentle, where affection is consistent, where boundaries are respected, and where your heart isn't something someone else uses to control you. You deserve peace, you deserve clarity, and you deserve to feel like yourself again. And now, you're one step closer. If you want more content like this, about psychology, manipulation, relationships, and emotional awareness, stay with us. The journey of understanding people isn't easy, but it's one of the most powerful journeys you'll ever take.